And remember now, maintain your deliverance. Remember, after the Lord set you free, demons are no longer in you. So now, Satan's kingdom is saying they want you back. So they're going to try everything in their power to try to come back. And it don't take much faith for them to come back. Any slight disobedience. A lot of times we're looking at a huge, maybe disobedience, but the Lord said it's the little foxes that spoils the vine. So Satan a lot of times will enter such small ways that you wouldn't even consider it to be a way in which you enter. Because it reminded me on yesterday with a session with Susan. Susan was delivered, I delivered her about 3-4 years ago. She's in the UK, so I'll be posting that on YouTube soon. It'll be August the 24th, 2016 session with Susan from the UK. I want you to listen just to hear the subtle way in which Satan re-entered her, in which she didn't even realize he re-entered her until it was too late. It was too late. And the Lord let me know this had happened to many. And that's the reason why when it happened to them, the Holy Spirit been telling them to call again to get delivered. But because of that spirit re-entering, it brought in 7 more demons more powerful. It convinces them not to call in. So dear heart, that's why it's best that we stay submitted to God in every area. You know, never think that Satan cannot fool you. That's the biggest mistake. Even when we think that he cannot fool us, you know what, dear heart, he's already in. Because we can't depend on our own strength. We have to depend on the Lord's strength. And whatever we do, we always have to depend on Lord's strength. It doesn't matter how small or great of the matter or decision we make to do. We must inquire of the Lord. If not, Satan is so subtle, he would enter back in. And then when you connect with a true servant of God, they can pick it up because that darkness is irritated by even the voice of God's servant. It's irritated. So again, depend on the Lord. Don't depend on your strength. Depend on the Lord. And the Lord said another thing, please, dear heart, watch your relationships. Watch your relationships. If you're not married, be careful. You know, don't go seeking relationship. When you go seeking a relationship, you actually open the door for the enemy to deceive you. Because actually the Lord said for us to cast all our cares upon him. And that even includes our expectation of being married. Give that to the Lord and wait on the Lord. Because I'm telling you, if you don't, and you meet a young man who appears to be outwardly a man of God, but inwardly darkness rules and reigns, the very moment you say hi, and that hi that you send to that person, and the intent of your heart is to get to know them even more because he may be the one. That is an open door for that darkness in him to transfer right into you. So that's why the Lord told us to seek and put our affection on things above. We need to be careful. And also, you know, if you're a person, you're not even attending a local church. You're not even looking for a local church. That's dangerous because the Lord said, forsake not to assemble yourselves together with the faith. Because it gives us security when we're with one another. And we come together to hear the word of the Lord. If we keep ourselves isolated like that, that opens the door for a defiant spirit to enter us. And we'll feel that we don't need to be part of no local church because I can hear God for myself. When you get an attitude and thinking that you can hear God for yourself, that means darkness is in you. because that's not the attitude of the Lord. Because God assigned 5 offices in his church so that his children can be nurtured and taught the things of God. And a pastor is one of them. So if you're understanding my voice and you're listening to this session now, I'm at the end, and you don't have a local church, and neither are you seeking one, you're just over the internet perusing it and saying you've been fed over the internet, that is not God's way. No, you're supposed to have a local church. You say, well, it's hard to find. And you're right. I must agree with you. Very hard to find. So therefore, we must trust God that God will find one. So that means that in my heart, I'm not giving up. I have not forsaken myself with the assembly of my brethren, because I have not given up. I have not given up in my heart that I'm not looking for a home church. So you don't give up from your heart. That's what God is saying. Because you might not right now be able to find a local church where you are. But in your heart, you have not given up. In your heart, you're still trusting God, that God's going to lead you to a home church. He's going to lead you to the shepherd that he has chosen to place you under so you can be fed, you can be taught the things of God. You know, I had to mention this to a young man who helped me out in this ministry in Ghana. The Lord said, talk to him, because he needs to be submitted under a pastor in his local area. He need a local pastor. He said by him having a local pastor, it will protect him from the spirit of pride who desire to have him so much. So there's a reason why God have assigned to his church the role of a pastor. It's protection. It protects us. It keeps us humble. It keeps us submitted. That means it keeps your heart in a submission state where you humble and you're always willing to hear and listen and receive instruction. But when you isolate yourself and have given up on the assembly yourself, the same, where you say you don't need a local church, you just find your church over the internet, you open the door again for a defiant spirit. And when that defiant spirit get in you, you don't want to listen to no one, especially if someone is instructing you. When someone instructing you, then you feel this slight agitation, kind of make you a little agitated. So that means that darkness is already in you, and you need to be delivered. Praise the living God. Now, there's a reason why the Lord has me to say all of this, because he's going to bring those that he's already chose. See, what I'm saying here, Lord, is what you call a word of wisdom. It's a word of wisdom. So, for instance, like next week, when I place this on my YouTube channel, that's where a lot of people come in and listen to my messages. God's going to tune the ones that he already chosen to hear what I'm saying at the end of this deliverance session. Because I don't do this often. I usually just close on out. The Lord wanted me to give this brief word to whoever. And I want you, who God has sent to hear this brief message, I want you to send me an email at mikeworth@thechurchofmike.org. Now, I'm not talking to everybody. I'm talking to those that know it was God who sent them to hear what I'm saying here. And I want you to send me an email to let me know what God, specifically God has spoken to you, how he has spoken to you through this brief message. So praise the living God. So dear heart, again, thank you for everything that you have done for this ministry, for your words of encouragement. Thank you most of all for your obedience to God. Your obedience to God. Because remember, our Heavenly Father still seeking for a true worshiper, those who worship him truthfully, spiritually. And I say thank you in Jesus' mighty name. Shalom.